In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.
Welcome back to the Tech Zone. I am Paul Amadeus Lane. I am your hostess with the mostest. And at the end of the show, I'm going to hit you up with the deuces so I can ghost this. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You know, I get by my inner MC sometimes and rap. You know, back in the days, I spit a few bars when I was like in high school and my music career days and everything. So one of these days, I'm going to, I guess, spit a little fire on the show. I am so excited about my next guest. Why? Because he is a person who is disabled. He's a quadriplegic like myself, but he's an upper level quad. He's a C4 quad. I am a C6 quad, and that means I have some arm movement. But my next guest, he doesn't have any arm movement, so he operates his wheelchair by using his head. But the great folks over at Intel AI and Hoobox have put together this piece of innovation so that now he is able to operate his wheelchair just by his facial expressions. So let's talk to him and find out about his story and how this piece of innovation is really helping him to live life to the fullest. I am so happy right now to have with me a gentleman who understands the struggle that I go through. He and I both are quadriplegics, and it's an honor. This is the first for me on the show to have a fellow quad with me on this show, but I'm so happy I have him with me, Jim Ryan. Jim, how are you, my friend?
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
Great to have you, my friend. And I was so excited when I got a chance to get this interview, and I said, yes, because we have to spread the word. We have to let other ones know out there the struggle that we have. But not only that, but just how technology can assist us in everyday living. Now, and Jim, before we delve into the nuts and bolts of this piece of innovation that you're working with now, what happened? What led you to be confined to a wheelchair?
Our lives, me and my family and all my friends, our lives changed just over 3 years ago on March 30th of 2016 when Isabel, my wife, and I were just cooling off in the ocean in Maui, and a wave hit me and drove my head in the sand. And I was instantly paralyzed, and I actually drowned, and the wonderful lifeguards and the people on the beach that day saved me. 9.5 months in hospital. I think it was 10.5 months. I've lost count. And I've been in a wheelchair ever since. So I'm a C4 complete, so I've lost 26 vertebrae, and all my movement is from my armpits up, and I use everything with my head. I drive my wheelchair with a halo, and that's where the wheelie might really make a difference for me.
And you know, you bring up a very good point, Jim, because I remember when I first got my wheelchair, it was a Quickie P110, and it was just a regular joystick wheelchair, and back then, over 26 years ago, the innovation wasn't as robust as it is right now, so it was kind of challenging to learn certain things. So when you first got your wheelchair that you have now, what is the difference between Willie's innovation than the innovations you use just regularly with the Permobil that you're in?
So yeah, I'm in a Permobil 300. It's an excellent chair, and how I drive is with this halo around my head. You can see it. It has 5 buttons, 2 that you can see and 3 hidden. And I can set up different modes. I can drive. I can make my chair go up and down, back and forth. I can run my phone and my TV. But the problem is having this head array, I can't turn my heads. So if I'm out trying to cross the street and I turn my head to look for traffic, I turn my machine off. If I'm in the middle of the street, it's a drag. If I try to rest, I have these buttons that are driving me nuts. So something like the wheelie would allow me to drive and look around, but also I could just put a proper headrest so when I want to lean back, rest and watch TV or read a book, I can be like everyone else. I think this wheelie can really give me a lot more freedom in the small movements I have.
And and that's a lot of things that people don't realize. Us being confined to a wheelchair, this the restrictions that we have with certain things. Like even like with me, like I have a normal headrest, but until you mentioned that right now, I had no idea just the restriction that it has when you turn your head trying to look across the street, and the safety issue. I had a chance to see this at CES 2019, and I saw a girl just driving around the show floor with, and I'm like, what is she doing? And everybody kept seeing me. Hey, did you see the wheelchair that drives by? Facial expressions. I was like, no, I just saw it in passing. I didn't get a chance to study it. But I'm so glad, so glad that you are a person who is working with the company and trying it out, and really giving them firsthand insight on how it works. Now, what was kind of was it a challenge to get used to from using the Halo to the wheelie?
Paul, it might be because I'm quite technical, but Hoobox and Intel have set this up. They put the camera in front of me, and within a few minutes, an explanation from Paolo from Hoobox, I was starting to roll around. Now it's artificial intelligence, AI, and it learned from me as fast as I learned from it. So within about 10 or 15 minutes, I was actually starting to move around the house, and then we took it outside, and it was a bit of a cold March day here in Canada, but it actually was a lot of fun to drive and look around, something I never get to do. So it was really a lot of fun. It was really quick learning for me. I was really impressed.
That's awesome. That's awesome because I'm impressed too. Looking at the innovation, and I see just the look in your eye as you talk about it. This is really impactful, and this is the type of technology that I really love to talk about. This resilient technology, this technology that's assisting everyday life, that's helping us to to function and have a measure of independence. Because let's face it, Jim, I used to hate before I got my motorized wheelchair. And I appreciated the effort of ones pushing me around because I couldn't get anywhere. But it was just like trying to look around. It's like, no, stop, I want to look at that. No, stop, I want to look at that. And it's like until I got my own wheels and independent, I was like, man, this is like true independence. Did you go through that too when you first got confined to the chair? You're like, I wish somebody would just stop in the right place so I can look at what I'm trying to look at.
Oh, you're so right. It was terrible. You're always asking, you're always saying, do this, do that. I was always a giver, not a taker. Now I had to take. And when I would come home sometimes, my wife Isabel would roll me into the family room, and I would sit in the dark and the quiet while she put the car doors back up, etc. And it drove me nuts. Now I have quite a lot more independence. And I like to go out and go to coffee with my friends on my own, just like everybody else. So, yeah, so just having a bit more freedom with my head, with the movements I have, with the Hoobox, it would really help.
And one thing I like about the Hoobox too is that it can work with existing wheelchairs out there. I know you have a permobil like me. I'm a big guy, so had to get the HD frame. So I wish I wish I was around the same size as you. I could have got the regular one, but it's nice that they created something like this because let's face it, ones in our situation, many of us are either on disability or have subsidized income, and it's hard for ones who don't have the disposable income to go out and try to buy a brand new chair to have these type of functions. But to have this be able to retrofit existing wheelchairs, I think is amazing. That really shows that they're caring about the community.
We are so fortunate, Paul, you and I, to have people working for us on things like this. And the one issue we had was the interface between the chair and the Hoobox. And Paolo and his group are working on that now. And we've come up with a couple of different solutions, which I think once we install it, I can really start to see the difference and use the Hoobox for a lot more independence, a lot more comfort. I know it seems like small things, but when I can only move my head, it's quite important. Yeah.
That's so true. I remember when I was first injured, and it wasn't that I couldn't move my arms, it was because I was prone for a long time, and out of it, I was so
Wow.
weak. And I remember the first time, and you probably can attest to this too, Jim, just scratching your nose or something. It's like you're not able to do that. And you're like, can you please scratch my nose? Can you please do this? Can you please do that? And when we're able to just have a measure of independence, I don't care if it's just looking around or being able to rub our nose or something. It's like it's like a whole new world for us. I mean, that makes us exciting.
You're so right, Paul. It's anything to allow me to live my life without bothering my wife or anybody else around me. You know, I want to be a member of society, an asset, not a burden. And things like the Who box is one more step in allowing me to get out and be a participant, not an observer. So yes, we're very fortunate to have people like Hoobox and Intel working hard to make lives better for us. Really, really fortunate.
So true, my friend. So, is there anything else about Hoobox you would like to, make sure that we get the true story and just how it's really changing lives?
You know, it's not just for persons in wheelchairs. There's over 70 people now testing the Who box. But the other thing is they can start using it in hospitals for people who have trouble speaking or moving. They can use it. Apparently, it can even tell when you're going to sneeze before you're going to sneeze. The
Wow.
facial recognition is so good. So they're coming up with all kinds of uses for the Who box, not just for wheelchairs, but for all kinds of medical people with issues. I think it's really a step in the right direction.
And what I like about it too, having that partnership with Intel. I mean, having one of the fastest processors on the planet, with this piece of innovation, I really think it's a home run, and really adds even more credibility to skeptics out there who may be like, well, I don't know, facial recognition, I don't know. I've seen all these sci-fi movies. I'm scared. I don't want to do anything like that. But to have Intel behind it too is like a home run. And what I like about you too, Jim, is that you have not allowed the injury to stop you from just being out there in the public, inspiring others, even hosting a podcast out there. Just think, Jim, technology that we have today allows you and I to have a platform to reach out to individuals out there, to be able to inspire your YouTube channel. Talk about just how that has added to your quality of life.
You know, Paul, again, I want to be an asset to society, not a burden. And one of the most gratifying parts of all the effort I do, and my son Daniel is a huge part of it. He is the fingers and the hands for all my podcasts and website and Facebook page. Uh, is the people like you and I who reach out and discuss their issues and what they're facing, and even more their assistants, their husbands and wives, their helpers, really reach out and want to try to understand and move forward. So I really enjoy uh, talking with them and trying to motivate them to get out in society. You know, Paul, how easy it is to be locked in your wheelchair and don't want to go out. Well, go on out. It's a lot of fun. First step's the hardest. Actually, the first wheel is the hardest, and then we're off, and the world is great.
That's so true. That's so true. And our families, your lovely wife and your children, and your whole family who's behind you, inspiring you. It's funny how we become a normal family after the accident, because we still joke around. Whenever I get kind of
Yeah.
whenever I get kind of mouthy, my mom still says she's going to unplug my wheelchair and leave me in the desert. And you know, and when people hear that, they're like, "Oh, you'll do that to your son?" I'm like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's just joke," you know. And I just love the normacy that we can have as a family. Still joke around, laugh about it, and have fun with it. And that really inspires others out there to say, "Hey, treat us as normal individuals. We don't want to be treated special, well, outside of our cool parking spaces we can have, but outside of that, we don't mind. We don't mind being treated normal, right, Jim?"
Yeah, no, exactly, Paul. You know what the fun part is when friends come over and they hadn't seen me since my injury, and they don't know what to say, and hey, come on in. How are you? How's your day? And within 10 minutes, they're saying, I didn't know what to say. I thought you'd be completely different, but you're the same crazy, weird person you always were. So they just forget the wheelchair and see me again. And that's so gratifying. I always say, see me, not the chair, and let's move on through life. And so, yes, it's really been fun that way to move people's attitudes forward.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, Jim, talk about how being a person with a disability and being able to use that to help with research with a great product like this. And did you ever think that your injury would be able to propel you into not only inspiring ones, but also being a major player when it comes to this research and development when it comes to Hoobox?
That's a really good question, Paul, and I'm not really sure how to answer it. When I was injured, my son Daniel set up a Facebook page for family and friends to help get the information about my condition. And now well over 3,000 people watch it. And then we have our podcast and our website. And suddenly I've become a tester for Hoobox and Intel. And I just reach out and tell people that even though I'm in a wheelchair, I'm just a normal guy trying to get through life. And people find that very inspiring. I think people are afraid of being injured, but you get through life. We have no choice. You know as well as I. We just move forward and get through life.
Absolutely. That's what we do, my friend.
That's a good answer.
No, it's a fantastic answer. It's a real answer, my friend, because, you know, I think that will inspire, you know, ones who are disabled and ones who are not disabled to not look at the, you know, to try to look past the moment. Because sometimes as humans, we just look at what we're not able to do instead of looking at what we are able to do, and being inspirational and surrounding ourselves with a great team of friends and family is amazing. I'm inspired by you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to say just quickly, I do a lot of speaking. I was talking to grade 5 students last week, just a wonderful time. And I always say, life isn't where you're from, life is where you're going. We can't change the past. We don't have to like it, accept it, understand it. It's part of our past. Now we have to move forward through life and try to keep going. We have no choice. Not just disabled people, but everybody. And you know, some disabilities are hidden. We don't see them at all. It's so hard to work through them. So I've been very fortunate to have such incredible support from family and friends. And here we are. I'm talking to the great Paul Lane. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I'm not so great if you ask my wife and my family. I'm still Big Head Paul that they call me whenever they see me. But I appreciate, you know, chatting with you and spending time with you. Now, how can ones find out more information about Hoobox and about you and how they can continue to connect with you?
Yeah, so my website's called myquadriplegic.life. And if you go to Facebook, I'm under Jim Ryan, Rolling Through Life, all one word. And it's quite an extensive Facebook group. It tells a story of my accident in my life. It's really been our go-to site. I'm also under Instagram. I think I'm Jim Ryan RTL for Rolling Through Life. And the same as Twitter as well, Jim Ryan RTL. So we post quite often. I try to tell what I'm doing. I don't know if you know, but I went paragliding last week. It was just an incredible. It's on my Facebook page, Paul. You should watch the videos. They are a riot. I was so fortunate to have such good friends make that happen. I was a pilot for 38 years, and it was the first time I felt like I was flying in over 3 years. So, yes, I keep on living, my friend, as do you, and so fortunate to have the family and friends I have.
Well, you're an awesome guy, and hopefully if I can lose some of these lbs, I can get up there paragliding too, because I'm 6'6" and about 350 and some change, so I gotta slim down a little bit so they can have a harness that can fit me. But you're inspiring me to lose.
You gotta join me and eat little boy meals again. It sucks, but that's our lives now.
Isn't that true?
We're eating the little boy meals.
Yeah, go there and get a kids meal. Absolutely, my friend. Hey, it's been awesome talking to you. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to having you back on again to just catch up with you and spend some time with you, my friend, and give my love to your tremendous family and all that they do for you, and you take care of yourself.
Thank you very much, sir. An honor to talk to you.
A huge shout out to my man, Jim Ryan, my fellow quadriplegic brother from another mother. I appreciate his hustle. I appreciate just how he's not letting the injury stop him from living life to the fullest. Parasailing, guys, can you believe that? I could do it too, but I got my grown folks thick, so I got to lose a little bit of weight before I do that. But that piece of innovation, the Hoobox wheelie, I am like so excited. I can't wait to try it out myself. But I gotta watch my facial expression, because sometimes I can mad dog. Sometimes I can, get that little look right there. Some of you who are watching our video stream, you know what I'm talking about. But next week's show, we're gonna have some of the great folks from Intel AI join us to talk about this innovation, why they decided to be involved in this product and this project, and I am so looking forward to that. So next week's show, we're going to have a continuation from our friends at the Intel Corporation and talk about what made them want to get involved in this AI project and what it really means for you and I out there who are part of the disabled community and more. All right, when we get back, we're going to check in with our good friends over the Consumer Technology Association Foundation, talk about what they have been up to, what some of the great nonprofit organizations that's going to get funding this year that's going to help in the technosphere for disabled and the senior population out there. I'm excited. I'm going to see if I can do a little gotcha journalism and get them to tell me who these different nonprofits are. Who do I think I am? I don't have no power like that, but I'm going to implore them. I'm going to beseech them to find out the answer to that question. All right. You're in the Tech Zone. Paul Amadeus Lane. We'll be right back after these messages.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.